Hi, welcome back to Engine Shop Joe. Today we're going to figure out why the B67 CM2250 engine was getting fuel in the oil. If you remember, it was in a service truck. And let's take a look and see what happened. So if you remember, I asked them to do a data logger of the truck driving so that I could look at a number of different things. And this isn't the way the data log looks when I get it. The columns are in different orders, and I kind of have to spend a little bit of time putting this together and moving things around so it's the way that I want it. And I don't use this exact sequence of events up here every time. In other words, I don't always have operating state, engine RPM next, then percent of accelerator, then percent of load, then EGR pressure, EGR valve. I might have totally different values I'm looking at and items I'm looking at depending on the problem I'm trying to figure out. So knowing what to put where, you'll get that. It comes with experience if you do this. But anyway, one of the things I wanted to see is how the engine was performing when they were driving it. And I was particularly interested in the boost to see if we were making enough boost. And if you notice on the left, the far left, it says engine operating state, and you can see I've got maximum fueling and maximum throttle. And we're at percent of accelerator, 100%, and percent of load, 99 to 100%. And percent of accelerator is what the operator's asking the engine to do, and percent of load is what the engine is doing or how much fuel it's giving. And then the operating state, it verifies that. It says maximum fueling, maximum throttle. So the difference between maximum fueling, maximum throttle means that he's got the pedal on the floor and the RPM is getting up towards the governor cutoff limit. Maximum fueling means that the engine is giving the maximum amount of fuel that it can for the requested percent of throttle or accelerator in this case. Could be a lever, whatever. So the main thing that I want you to understand is the engine's giving it all she's got. And we're at 2,000, 2,100, 2,200, 2,300, 2,400. And I know that I should have peak boost the engine should be able to make right here. I look over fuel pressure on the right. It's good. The commanded and measured are very close. Exhaust gas pressure is up there. It's just about where it needs to be. And the turbocharger is cranking up at about 109,000. And that's where it needs to be. And we've got 54 inches of boost. Now I've got that circled in red because for this engine and this fuel code that's in it, at this RPM band at full load, we are down on boost. And so we're down significantly on boost. The operator says the engine runs good, pulls good, but we are down on boost. And what do we all know you have to burn fuel properly? You have to have air. And not just any old air. You have to have air that's got a lot of oxygen in it. And so that's the reason I have the EGR differential pressure listed there. I wanted to see if we were way over EGRing the engine, because if we were, it's going to smoke, right? Because EGR is burned gas that's got depleted oxygen being put back in the cylinder. We do put some in, but this is all calculated out. And if the numbers are right with the EGR, then the system's going to be running the way it should run. Okay, so EGR wasn't an issue. So I knew that we had to figure out why there was a problem with boost. Now, I want you to stop and think for a minute about what you would tell the mechanic working on this vehicle he needed to check. What test would you have him do? What would you have him not do? Remember, I'm talking to this guy and I'm going to give him directions. And in the real world, I talk to him, but I send him an email with steps in it. Do this, 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 this. So think about that. Think about what you would do and what you would have him do. I'll give you just a minute to think about that. If you want to pause the video here, go ahead. And then when you're ready, start it back up. So what did I have him do? Well, when boost is low, I usually suspect it's a leak because they told me the engine was running just fine. It had power. So I had them do the air handling test in Insight. And that's a test where the ECM checks the VGT to make sure that it's cycling properly and moving stop to stop. And it's a test where the engine cranks but doesn't start. And then it builds a little bit of boost in the intake manifold, and the engine knows what that should be at the cranking speed that it's cranking at. It's the test that was developed, in a test cell, so it's fairly accurate. And that test passed. So then I had him remove the charge air pipe off of the turbocharger and put a test plug in there and put about 7 psi in that the whole system. That pressurizes the intake manifold, everything. I had him soap it down, soap the boots down. Everything looked okay. I knew the EGR was okay. I knew we were low on boost. And I said, we need to put a set of injectors in it. And he said, we just put injectors in this thing like 30,000 miles ago. And I said, well, I've been wrong before, but I said, I think you need to put a set of injectors in it. I said, something happened to them. And remember, I don't know what services were like. I don't know if they stopped on a road because they had a plug fuel filter and somebody did a service and filled the filter up that goes on the engine with dirty fuel. Don't know that. So I'm going by what I'm seeing. So they put the set of injectors in it, and I had them do another road test after they did that, and here's what we saw. Now, if you remember before, we never got past maximum of 54 inches of boost, and the engine should have had 60, and we had one spot where we actually peaked 62. So the injectors made a huge difference in the boost. Now, I know you might say, well, 10 inches of mercury isn't much, but if we only make 60 pounds of boost and we increased it 8 to 10 inches of mercury, that's almost a 15 to 18% increase in boost. And our after treatment temperatures went way down. And in the long run, he said the next time they changed oil, they had no fuel in the oil because his after treatment history went back to what it should have been. Now, I didn't mention it to you, but I did tell them to check the air filter early on and the intake piping for restriction. And I actually had them put a new air filter in this before they did that first road test that had the low boost. So it looks like we didn't miss anything because I have not gotten a call back on this unit. It's running just fine. No more fuel in the oil. And it wasn't a good guess. It was a thought out, calculated decision. And that's the kind of decisions that you want to learn to make when you're working on your own vehicle. And so thanks for joining me on Engine Shop Joe, and we'll see you next time.